The end of the day is approaching, and meteorites are falling from the sky, carrying huge amounts of poisonous mist and various treasures. The world is suffering a great calamity, with poisonous mist permeating in ruins, and creatures that have mutated due to the erosion of the mist are everywhere. Chen He woke up in a daze and found a huge meteorite destroying his home, and that meteorite, carrying treasure, was obtained by Chen He. Chapter 1. Wake up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A strong shock woke up Chen He, who was sleeping soundly. Chen He opened his heavy eyes slightly, and in his sight was a large amount of flying dust and debris, covering the entire room. Sit up suddenly. Ah, it hurts. The head is unusually heavy, and the whole body seems to be filled with water, swollen to the point where it can burst with just a poke. What is the situation? Rubbing his head and glancing to the right from the corner of his eye, Chen He was shocked to find that the entire wall on the right side was concave, and the other walls on both sides were already crumbling, covered in cracks, as if they had been hit by some huge force. With just a little more force, the entire wall could easily collapse and break into powder. The door no longer exists, with only a twisted frame representing its past existence. On the ground, there were various shattered wall tiles and wood shavings, as well as some debris flying over from somewhere, making the entire room a mess. Looking up at the sunken wall on the roof, the ceiling light was only suspended by a single wire, swaying back and forth, and was on the verge of collapse. The entire room was filled with signs that it was about to collapse. Chen He ignored his physical abnormalities and quickly searched for a set of clothes by the bed before going out to check. At this glance, his pupils couldn't help but shrink. Outside the house, as far as my gaze could see, there was a pile of ruins and many nearby houses were completely destroyed. In the center of the ruins, there was a huge crater with a large meteorite lying inside. About half of it was buried underground, and it was estimated to be over 2 meters high. With just one glance, Chen He could no longer see anything else in his eyes, and his heart suddenly became excited, feeling that the meteorite was emitting inexplicable attraction towards her. Get it? Rural earthen houses are generally not built high, and her home only has 2 floors. The impact of this meteorite crash destroyed about 10 nearby buildings. Fortunately, when it affected Chen He's house, it stopped, or in other words, when it affected her room, it stopped. The stairs and corridors were all destroyed, and Chen He could only quickly climb down the broken wall. Her inner voice keeps urging her, hurry up. Hurry up. Even she didn't realize that her current skills were much more agile than before. Quickly, Chen He climbed over this ruins to reach the giant crater, then slid down the crater wall and faced the meteorite directly. At this moment, the meteorite is still emitting a huge heat wave, with cracks covering the scorched surface of the rock. The cracks are filled with magma that has not yet cooled, emitting a crimson glow. There are also some small cracks emitting a faint white light, and the high temperature causes the water vapor on the ground to evaporate, making the entire meteorite look exquisitely veined, shrouded in mist, incredibly magical, and full of charm. At least at this moment, it is full of attraction to Chen He. Unconsciously, she reached out and touched the hot meteorite. The scorching meteorite rocks formed waves of heat, distorting the entire space. However, Chen He did not notice any abnormalities. At this moment, she is entering a wonderful state. With her eyes tightly closed and her right hand touching the surface of the meteorite, a wisp of white mist seeped out of the meteorite and slowly entered Chen He's body through his hand. A gray, misty area appeared in her consciousness. In the middle of the foggy area, there is a faint light source covered by this layer of fog, emitting a milky white glow. Chen He quickly magnified the light source and continued to observe. Looking left and right, it was just a ball of light, and she rushed into the fog again observing, one can still only see a mist enveloping this light source. After looking for a while, Chen He noticed that the fog on this light source seemed to have faded a bit. Continuing to wait, Chen River, with nothing to do, drifted around the light source, mesmerized as he watched it. I don't know how long it took, but the fog finally dissipated completely, revealing the original appearance of the light source. A white semi-transparent ball, crystal clear overall, emitting bright colors, shining brightly. It's really beautiful. Chen He was overjoyed and couldn't help but spin around the light ball a few times, and the light ball seemed to respond to Chen He, flashing its own light twice. Immediately, she discovered that some glowing objects, resembling symbols, slowly appeared inside the sphere of light, and these glowing objects were arranged and changed several times inside the sphere, combined into a blue star text, source, and emitting a scorching light. At the moment of seeing this source word, Chen He suddenly felt a piercing pain in his consciousness. A dark moment enveloped her consciousness, and then a few memory fragments flashed past. A scene is a fleeting moment of white light appearing, followed by endless darkness. Another scene is when she vaguely realizes that she is in a water space, where a force fills her whole body, making her feel warm. At the same time, there is a pain sensation of tens of thousands of ants biting her whole body. There is also the last scene, where a strong beam of light suddenly appears before her eyes. With just one glance, Chen He felt as if his eyes were about to be burned blind. He immediately closed his eyes and, upon realizing it, tears streamed down his face. What is this? Before she could think, her consciousness was pushed out and she returned to the meteorite. I saw that the white light on the meteorite in front of me no longer existed, and the fiery red magma also slightly dimmed. Chen He suddenly realized that his right palm was actually pressed against the surface of the meteorite. I'm K. Hurriedly retracted his palm and looked at it, still white and delicate. It's okay, it's okay. Seeing that my hand was fine, my thumping heartbeat gradually slowed down, but I immediately felt strange again. Why didn't I get scalded? Looking around, I was in the center of a huge pit, and outside the pit, I could vaguely see a mess of ruins. This is the central area caused by the meteorite crash. When did I come here? Chen He slowly recalled that from when she stood at the doorframe and saw the meteorite, she seemed to be uncontrollable. With astonishing agility, she climbed down the dilapidated wall, and then quickly jumped and marched through the bumpy ruins, arriving here. It's this meteorite, it's attracting me over. Chen He looked at his palm again and said, what did it do to me again? What is the light ball that I see in my consciousness? What does Yuan mean? What are those three scenes? For a moment, Chen He only felt his mind full of slurry, all problems. I can't even remember what happened yesterday. Why is she at home? And the last thing she remembers is, it seems like it's on vacation. Shaking my head, I stopped thinking about these things. The most important thing now is to figure out what happened to my body. Now, there is a very powerful force in her body, and what is that force? Staring at the palm of my hand, I was thinking about it when I suddenly felt a force swimming in my body. With a thought, a faint white almost transparent crystal-like energy appeared in my palm, flowing brightly and emitting a brilliant light. What is this? Looking at the energy in his hand, Chen He was amazed and said, is this some kind of simulated reality game world? Chapter 2. Yaoshi Battle Armor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. The sound of police sirens suddenly sounded not far away, pulling Chen He back to reality with his wild thoughts. A few people in uniforms got off the car and were rushing towards this direction. With a thought, the energy cluster in his hand quickly disappeared into Chen He's palm like liquid. She still feels a mess about everything that has happened so far. I also didn't understand what the unknown energy cluster in my body was and what its purpose was. Is this the real world or not? Why does it feel like there is a blank period in my memory, as if I have forgotten something important? It doesn't feel very real. After many considerations, Chen He decided to leave here first, no matter what, wait until he understands the abnormal state of his body before speaking. So he quickly left in the opposite direction of the siren sound. At this moment, Chen He was in a clear state, and she immediately noticed another abnormality, which was her body's sensitivity. Or in other words, in this ruins, there are scattered broken walls of different sizes, dilapidated furniture and appliances, and so on. It can be said that there are no obstacles in this area, but Chen He leaves very quickly. You can easily cross 2 or 3 meters with just one step of running, and jump up a broken wall over 1 meter high with just one step, but at the same time, he also fell into the ruins due to not adapting to this speed. Quickly getting up and patting the dust on his head, he continued to adapt. Soon, his walking speed was like walking on a flat ground in this ruins. Obstacles. That doesn't exist. I don't know how long I've been running, but I can't hear the sound of the police siren anymore. Chen He also feels a bit weak, so he found a tree and sat down to rest. Her home is already a rural area on the outskirts of the city. After running all the way, she ran straight to the mountains and forests on the outskirts of the village. Continuing further here leads to a straight mountain, with numerous peaks and peaks. I just ran all the way over and didn't see any villages along the way. It seems that I haven't found the right direction. Now there is no communicator in hand, no food or water, and only a set of clothes and shoes are all my belongings. Chen He also made an untimely, gurgling sound from his stomach, which made him feel a bit regretful when he thought about it. Why should I run? I didn't break the law. Why don't I go back? I don't know if they saw me at that time. If they did, ask me how I appeared in the crater. What should I say? I don't know if they have noticed the energy in my hands, but if I can see them, I believe they have also seen me. However, they are high up and I am in the pit, so I may not be seen either. Chen He stood up and thought about it, but still felt like going back. How can one survive in the wilderness without knowing how to save lives? And it's also very hot. Looking up at the few suns in the sky, oh, it's already noon. It's really October, and it's still so hot. This weather, How many suns? I'm XX, you sun. Sudden mutation. I saw several suns in the sky approaching the Chen River area at a speed that the naked eye could not estimate. This scene seems a bit familiar. Meteorite impact. And now it's at the disaster level. There are several big fireballs. It's doubled. I've doubled it several times. This is still a mountainous and forested area, surrounded by trees. Even if you are lucky enough not to be killed, you will still be hit by the aftershocks, either alive or disabled. Once the mountains and forests catch fire, even half of them will die. Bad luck at home. I'm running towards the gates of hell, right? Anyway, we can't just sit and wait for death. Let's try to run out of this forest first. Although Chen He fled desperately, even at her current speed, it seems that she cannot match the speed of the sun. I didn't wait for Chen He to run far, boom. Just hear a loud bang from behind. Accompanied by the intense vibration of the ground, a wave of air swept wildly, sweeping all nearby trees and grass, along with the Chen River, flying out. Immediately after, several loud noises came from all directions one after another. Flames rose up, wave after wave of flames igniting all the mountains and forests like waves. Chen He, who had fallen heavily to the ground, had another unlucky head and collided with a rock. Before he could even feel the pain, he saw flames rushing in like mountains and seas, and the impact of the waves also pushed her backwards. The back of her head once again hit the rock hard. At this moment, Chen He could no longer stay awake, his eyes darkened and he fell into a coma. However, when the fire waves truly covered Chen He's body, a layer of crystal clear energy appeared. Energy overflows from the surface of the body and quickly covers the whole body, forming a thick protective layer, like a crystal clear cocoon, protecting Chen River in all aspects. The flames were blazing around, passing through different places and quickly becoming a part of the sea of flames. However, the flames only stopped around the cocoon. The firelight reflected against the cocoon, crystal clear, flowing light everywhere, it was really beautiful. I don't know how long it took, but Chen He woke up, awakened by heat. She quickly checked her own condition. There was pain coming from the back of the head and the forehead, but there was no more bleeding. The blood stains on the head should have been dried up by the scorching fire. That's good news. The whole body feels like a bone fracture, especially the pain in the back. The situation should not be any worse. What is this? Raising his hand, a thick layer of crystal-clear protective layer floated on Chen He's hand. Is this the energy from that time? Did it protect me? Looking at the protective layer covering his entire body, he couldn't help but exclaim in his heart, just like the shining armor of the god of war. Suddenly, the energy covering the body surged slightly, as if given a command, and in an instant, it condensed into a dazzling white translucent armor, shining brightly. Chen He's brain was shocked and crashed. It took me a while to come to my senses. After looking at the reconsolidated armor, I reached out and moved around without any hindrance. There was no weight on his body, and Chen He was overjoyed in his heart. Although I can't figure out the situation clearly, fortunately, it's not time for despair. It seems that this energy is my hope for escaping from heaven. Is it really a game? Helping the stone behind him, he stood up with difficulty and looked at the sea of fire in front of him. While feeling fortunate to have been saved, he also had to think about how to get out of here. Do we have to wait for this fire to burn out? However, speaking of which, my luck is really unlucky. I ran into a forest and didn't expect it to be the falling point of a meteorite. There's more than one. It's not quite right to talk about bad luck. So many meteorites, not a single one hit me. It's not my back. How should I get out? Think about it. Looking at the crystal armor on my body, my whole body was filled with flowing light that repelled people thousands of miles away, dazzling and dazzling. Looking around me again, this is the only piece of land that hasn't been burnt. Chen He suddenly had a thought in his heart. That's her now, yes, no, enemy. Chapter 3. Hell-level meteorite disaster. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course, although you feel invincible, you still need to follow the principle of caution when taking action. When you cautiously approach the burning tree trunk not far away, the flames automatically recede. Then she extended another finger and slowly poked towards the tree trunk. There is a cluster of flames on the trunk, not small or big. When Chen He's fingers approached the flame, it seemed as if it had encountered something terrifying and quickly retracted. Chen He was overjoyed in his heart and said, "It's indeed like this." At the moment, she stepped out of her legs and prepared to run towards the outside of the forest of fire, but this step of running almost killed her half. Click. Just heard a crisp sound from his spine behind him, and then Chen He made an intimate contact with the earth with his face. Ah! A heart-wrenching scream echoed through the mountains and forests. After a long delay, Chen He finally regained his strength. "You can't be so reckless, take your time." She struggled to get up from the ground, but this time she didn't rush to leave. The fall actually calmed her down. Now she is protected by sparkling armor in the sea of fire, but she is not in a hurry to leave. And those few falling meteorites really made her care. There seems to be this kind of energy in the meteorite. Chen He raised his hand and carefully observed the energy armor covering his body again. The few scenes that had appeared before also made her very concerned. Chen He slowly turned around and walked towards the nearest meteorite. Judging from its degree of damage, it should be the largest one. As time passed, Chen He gradually approached the largest meteorite. Inside the huge crater lay a meteorite that looked similar to the one near my previous home, but was a little smaller. This time, Chen He did not fall into that state of losing self-awareness again. She descended into the crater and approached the meteorite. Intuition told her that there was something she needed inside this meteorite. That mysterious attraction has reappeared. Are you going to lose consciousness again? Shaking my head to stay awake, click. A crisp sound came from the neck. Just shaking his head like this almost prevented Chen He from ascending directly to heaven. I have no memory. However, the pain also kept Chen He awake. Looking ahead with his head tilted, this time Chen He directly put his hand on the meteorite rock surface. This meteorite should not have hurt her, and she is protected by glass armor, so she is not afraid of this high temperature. But when Chen He pressed his palm against the rock surface, the sizzling sound and the faint white mist still startled him, thinking that his palm was going to burn. Fortunately, there was no burning sensation in reality, so Chen He felt at ease and felt it carefully. Just as Chen He's palm, or rather the moment the glass armor touched the rock surface, the entire meteorite seemed to have come alive. The magma inside the crack is like fiery red pythons swimming rapidly inside the crack. Within the small cracks, beams of white light burst out with even stronger light. The entire meteorite was trembling slightly, with only a hint of milky white energy being shaken out, converging at Chen He's palm and entering his body through the glass armor. Chen He widened his eyes. It was the first time she had seen such a scene with her own eyes. This energy is swimming in her body, making her feel like she's bathing in a warm ocean. The ocean is so comfortable. As the energy flowed in, Chen He unconsciously and gradually immersed himself in it. At some point, his consciousness also entered the gray and foggy place again. The light ball was still floating in the center, and the word source inside it flickered with even stronger light. After an unknown amount of time, this area finally underwent some changes, and the light of the photosphere seemed to be stronger again. It can be irradiated further, and in a daze, it seems to be possible to see an area behind the photosphere, where the fog is dissipating. Chen He quickly drifted over to check. With the arrival of Chen River, this area gradually reveals its true appearance. This is a stunning and unparalleled light bulb area. Plants like things that only emit light grow in the mist, illuminating the circle around the light bulbs. Chen He wandered inside for a long time without noticing anything, so he decided to return to the source word ball. However, as soon as she returned to the source area, a strong shake came from the entire consciousness space, once again pushing her out of this consciousness and appearing in front of the meteorite. The energy of the meteorite in front of me has been absorbed completely, no longer emitting light, and the entire meteorite appears gray. A new meteorite fell from the distant mountains and forests, causing vibrations and roars. It turned out that it was it that pulled Chen He's thoughts back. Looking up, I suddenly realized that the sky was already filled with countless hot spots of light, like small suns burning fiercely, all of which were meteorites. The extremely scorching high temperature twisted the entire space of the meteorite, dragging its flame tail with an attitude of impending destruction, and it was falling from the sky at a deadly speed. The strong visual impact formed by this scene made Chen He's heart beat rapidly. The screen is full of meteorite rain, with flames soaring into the sky, forming a situation where there is nowhere to escape. Is this really a game? The visuals are too realistic. The long hair at the back of the head turned into a mess due to the sticky blood. These energies can form armor. Can they condense into a dagger? Just as I was thinking about it, the colorful glass light in my hand overflowed, instantly forming the shape of a dagger. I seem to have found some ways to use you. Grab your sticky hair, gently wave a dagger, and the whole bunch of hair is cut off. There's no time left. Next, we're going to start the meteorite disaster to survive. At the same time, in addition to the mountainous forest where Chen He is located, meteorite showers have also appeared in other places. The first country to see meteorite showers is Dragon Country, while other countries have seen meteorite showers one after another. Countries around the world are simultaneously reporting such outrageous news. Under normal circumstances, meteorite showers cannot occur globally at the same time. When extraterrestrial objects collide with planets, how can there be impacts from all directions? Bullshit. But now this absurd thing has happened, global, even covering the oceans, the North and South Poles, like aliens piloting spaceships to besiege the blue star. The only difference is the density of meteorite rain. I don't even know how this meteorite shower came about. Quickly, all satellites were destroyed, and global communication came to a sudden halt. Various countries are working hard to rescue this natural disaster, diverting people into underground air raid shelters and other places to take refuge, racing against time. So far, the number of casualties has been countless. Roughly estimated, the world's population will sharply decrease by half, and even this is only a conservative estimate. And the impact of this meteorite shower has only been 30 minutes. Countless buildings have been damaged by meteorite rain, and high-rise buildings, residential areas, etc. have become dangerous areas. As long as they are penetrated, the people inside can only wait to die. Vehicles on the streets have been blocked, or have been hit by high-rise buildings collapsing, or have been hit by objects causing explosive interlocks, or have directly become meteorites falling to the ground. The number of deaths is not in the minority. Even if passenger and freight ships traveling in the sea are not directly hit by meteorites, the huge waves caused by nearby meteorite rain can overturn directly. In the surging sea, even without this meteorite disaster, the survival index of personnel was almost zero. Chapter 4. Main Task. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. It should be late at night now, right? Chen He looked up at the sky, the dense flames still shining like brilliant fireworks, constantly blooming in the air, constantly magnifying and falling. Ha! Is there a car? After walking along the mountain road for a while, occasionally avoiding meteorites falling from the sky, I finally found a car that had crashed into the mountain at a corner of a simple road. It was a small bread that looked quite old. The driver's door is making a slow knocking sound. There was a faint firelight shining in the distance, which was caused by the burning of trees caused by the previously fallen meteorite. Through the car window, I vaguely saw a figure with his head down, constantly hitting the car door, which seemed to be stuck and unable to open. Someone lucky enough not to be hit by the meteorite. Chen He quickly stepped forward. It's been so long and he hasn't even seen a ghost. Now it's good, finally he can see someone. She has a plethora of questions she wants to ask, well, actually not many, just a few questions, the most important of which is to sidetrack whether this is the gaming world. And it's not safe here. There are already many meteorites falling in the distance, and this person is clearly stuck in the car and can't get out. If you don't save him, I don't know if you will always be so lucky. The crystal power surges on the hand, that's right. She already knew that the foreign energy crystal carried inside the meteorite was called crystal source crystal, a term that seemed to have silently appeared in her mind since the last time she absorbed that meteorite. Although she did not enter consciousness again, it is estimated that this is the message that the light ball gave her. Immediately after approaching the car, a long knife appeared and pried towards the locked position of the car door. The car door opened in response sudden mutation. After a brief moment of silence, a man with a face covered in blood burst out of the door, his crimson eyes fixed on Chen He, and he charged forward with open teeth and claws. His speed is very fast, far from what a normal person should have, which makes Chen He unable to react at once. In other words, she has never encountered such a situation before and doesn't know how to deal with it. The man covered in blood quickly rushed towards Chen He, even though he had already retreated in the first place. A pair of hands stained with blood almost caught Chen He. Quickly dodge and retreat, your heart beats rapidly. Roar! Roar! That figure rushed forward crazily. Chen He's pupils shrank violently, staring intently at the fierce person rushing up in front of him. I am ready to condense the crystal power in my hand. Right now. Boom! Not far away, a small meteorite fell, and flames and waves erupted in an instant. A green and eerie face was instantly illuminated, directly confronting Chen He's face. Not human. Shwa. Hands up and knives down. A green and eerie head rolled down, and the body covered in blood slowly collapsed in front of Chen He. The meteorite in the distance has already ignited this mountain forest, and we can no longer stay here. Chen He was somewhat frightened and uncertain. This must be a game, that one earlier was clearly not human. Red eyes, green skin. It feels like a zombie from a zombie movie. If it's a game, everything will be reasonable. What a full-screen meteorite shower, energy armor, zombies, and so on. If it's a game, it can all make sense. Glancing at the corpse on the ground again, green appeared on both the hands and the exposed skin. It must be that the game is right, no wonder I feel like I've forgotten something. I heard that when I first log into this game world, my brain experiences a brief memory loss. Shaking my head, Is your neck okay? Chen He moved her limbs and twisted her waist, and now she only feels very good. I didn't feel any pain while avoiding the zombie's attack just now. It turns out all the injuries on my body have healed. No wonder, after all, it's a game. Boom. Another small meteorite fell. You can't stay here anymore. Looking up at the sky, the meteorite shower had no intention of stopping, but it seemed that the density of the meteorites was gradually decreasing. Although she knew it was a game, she didn't want to get back to life so quickly. Putting away the crystal power, I was about to leave when I heard a few more bump sounds coming from the dilapidated car. Chen He stopped, but hesitated a bit. Should we go see it or not? Will there be another zombie monster? Use Jingyuan power again to condense a small knife and walk to the front of the car to open the rear door. I saw a man with green skin all over his body and bound limbs appear in front of him, with adhesive tape sticking to his mouth and making a whimper sound. His body kept wriggling, and his crimson eyes were nervously staring at Chen He. Seeing this scene, Chen He quickly picked up the crystal source knife in his hand, intending to easily end it all together. The blade fell and a white light flashed by. The green-skinned man with bound hands and feet trembled and tightly closed his eyes. Chen He did not chop him down. After all, the feeling of chopping people is still strange. And looking at this green-skinned man, his condition is clearly different from the one just now. He knows he's scared, his hands and feet are bound, and he doesn't know if he was caught by the green-skinned monster just now. Isn't this the appearance of an important main NPC? The bad green-skin aliens kidnapped the good green-skin aliens in this kind of drama. As soon as this idea came out, Chen He's heart pounded. Ahahaha. Finally, is it about to start? Can you speak? Chen He showed a well-intentioned smile. Lin Xiaocheng's heart is in turmoil. He now deeply regrets going to have a hangover with his friends last night. Oh no, it should be considered the night before yesterday, so much so that he was kidnapped by this uncle who came out of nowhere and claimed to be his enemy. That way of binding people is simply unsightly. Rude, vulgar. The angry uncle threw him into a broken bread truck, constantly cursing his crimes and greeting his family along the way, but Lin Xiaocheng swore that he had never done anything that this irrational uncle said. Definitely someone deliberately framed me. Ah no 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 no. Now is not the time to think about these things. What's wrong with the woman in front of me? This excited expression on her face was like a pervert seeing something that made her want to stop. Also, what was that flickering white light just now? Whether it's the white light or this woman. I always feel very dangerous. Chen He saw that he did not answer, nor did he force himself. He looked at him slightly under the distant firelight. The green-skinned person in front of me is different from before. There are no crimson to dark eyes, no ulcerated skin, no sound of drink, drink, and no grinning as he pounces to bite. The withered skin is like tree bark, the messy hair is like a bird's nest, there are various stains and dried blood stains on the shirt and pants, and the original color is completely indistinguishable. The tattered leather shoes are covered in mud, and a pair of eyes are covered with some subtle red blood. The eyes appear somewhat hollow due to the concavity. Like a mutated zombie in a plant versus zombie battle. Chapter 5. I have a task here. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh, stop shaking. I won't kill you. Chen He frowned. Now Lin Xiaocheng is shaking even harder. Look, look. She just wanted to kill me, right? She is indeed very dangerous. But why? Why didn't you kill me again? Did you think of any more agonizing and abnormal practices? Judging from your reaction, you should be able to understand what I'm saying. Let me ask you, what is the situation in your world? This meteorite shower is not stopping, is it? Lin Xiaocheng's heart trembled greatly. Ah. What are these words? What does our world mean? Aren't you from this world? By the way, do you have any tasks here? What is the reward? It shouldn't be too difficult for beginner tasks, right? Lin Xiaocheng's inner thoughts. What exactly are you talking about? Is it because I drank too much alcohol and haven't recovered yet? If my answer doesn't satisfy you, will it just kill me? What novice tasks and what rewards? You're not playing games, are you? I have experienced life and death, should you play games? At present, Lin Xiaocheng made a judgment that this woman was either an alien or a lunatic. And he's also very abnormal. After taking a long breath, Lin Xiaocheng forced himself to calm down. If he wanted to survive, he had to rely on his own deception to pass the test. Ha ha. That. Respected adventurer. Before the words could be spoken, the sky suddenly turned red. The two of them looked up one after another, only to see a fireball emitting dazzling light magnified at a speed visible to the naked eye. Chen He grabbed this NPC and quickly jumped away. Stay away from this area. Well, this NPC is quite tall but surprisingly light. No wonder, after all, it's just an NPC in the game, and weight is just a data point. It's not surprising whether it's light or heavy. Looking at the sky again. Through the mottled gaps in the leaves, the sky is filled with meteorites that I don't know where they will fall in the next moment. However, it's better not to stay in the woods and see where there's a bit more open space. After speaking, he quickly ran away again with the NPC between his legs. Ah, slow down. Brave. Lord. Wine. Ah, the meteorite shower fell until noon the next day. The overall commander of the Kyoto headquarters, Dragon Head Guard Minsheng, frowned and stared intently at the holographic projection in front of him. This was the map of the entire Dragon Kingdom, and at this moment, clusters of fireworks were constantly rising in various parts of the Dragon Kingdom. These fireworks are exactly where the meteorite fell. Most areas have lost communication now, and all we can use is the A-ground network. However, the cost of the A network is huge, and not many cities have been laid out nationwide. There are only a few cities that can be seen now, and communication has become the biggest challenge. We have notified institutions across the country as soon as possible, and we believe they will take the fastest measures. At present, the hazards caused by meteorite falls have been detected. In addition to explosive damage, unknown gases have also been found, which should have been emitted from the meteorite. We also found that soldiers who entered those gas ranges, after coming out, their body functions rapidly passed and they became withered, and their skin would show a faint green color. According to the doctor's examination, not only did the soldiers' skin undergo changes, but they also had varying degrees of damage to their internal organs, bones, and brains. Wei Minqing frowned. Misty gas is so dangerous that not ensuring the safety of soldiers is equivalent to not being able to enter the misty search and rescue work. Is it so serious? Have you found a way to deal with it? So far, there is only one method to wear protective clothing during rescue operations, but protective clothing is not produced specifically for these foggy conditions. It can only last for about 4 hours in the fog before it can penetrate. We found during the search and rescue process that some people with weak bodies absorb fog gas for more than 5 hours, and their bodies begin to mutate. Among the rescued people, almost none can survive, even if they are not dead now. Not to mention those who were initially affected by fog. After all, the meteorite shower has been ongoing for 26 hours, if we start counting from the first one. The death was extremely miserable, some of them were completely ulcerated, some had blackened skin, some had turned grayish-green, and blood bubbles would appear on their skin, causing them to bleed profusely. Even worse, the whole body swelled up like it was inflated until it exploded. However, we found that fog and air do not seem to blend together. Just like oil and water, the distinction is clear. At least not entering the fog is safe. Wei Minqing supported his forehead and let out a heavy sigh. The global meteorite shower that appeared without warning has been mysteriously lasting for 26 hours. According to incomplete statistics, only the A-vein network can detect 9,791 meteorites falling across the country. The size of the meteorites varies, with the largest known being 4 meters long and 3 meters wide, and the smallest falling to the ground being only an egg the size of an egg. Many smaller meteorites have burned in the air. The most severely affected areas are Lincheng and Mingjiang. Lincheng is even more severe, and some areas have not been affected by the meteorite rain. While maintaining order, preparations are also being made. Due to the complete destruction of the satellites, the actual number of meteorites will only increase, several times unknown. 2 hours ago, the number and frequency of meteorite falls across the country had decreased, and the most severely affected area should still be Lincheng. Wei Minqing frowned and listened carefully to the latest news from various subjects and lines, quickly analyzing. The main challenge now is communication issues. We are working hard to repair the A ground network and starting to lay out the B road network. Another issue is the provision of food and drinking water, which should be promptly transported to difficult areas. And plus, Wei Minqing issued orders in an orderly manner. While providing disaster relief, public security cannot be relaxed. Even after this meteorite disaster, this area must be strictly controlled. A sharp edge appeared in Wei Minqing's eyes. Xiao Zhao's disciples are most adept at taking advantage of natural disasters and disturbances. Yes. Yes. Orders were given one after another, and various subjects immediately became busy. Putting away the holographic projection, Wei Minqing paced restlessly in the hall, looked at the 5 people sitting in the hall, and said, "Actually, I guess that the meteorite disaster may only be the beginning. After the meteorite disaster, it is the real disaster. What they said about fog and air not blending is probably only temporary. The appearance of fog may not seem to merge with the air, but in reality, perhaps the elements that merge into the air are invisible to us. Even if it really doesn't blend, the fog will continue to spread and eventually invade the entire blue star. Where should we go then? It is important to explore fog as soon as possible, understand more about its characteristics, and find solutions. Find a solution 1 minute earlier, as humans." Understood. The 5 of them answered at the same time. Chapter 6. Search for supplies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lao Lin, we're here. Putting Lin Xiaoqing down, he helped him adapt for a while until he could stand on his own without any problems, and then Chen He let go. Their location is halfway up the mountain, and from a distance, for meteorites can be seen falling from the village, affecting a wide range. The buildings in the village are mainly made of civil engineering, and the vast majority of them have been destroyed. Chen He first ventured into the village, while Lin Xiaoqing stumbled and slowly caught up. Shortly afterwards, the two appeared in the village, looking up at the sky and, temporarily safe. We split up to search for food and water, while also checking for useful items such as backpacks or items that can be used as weapons. After speaking, Chen He left the original place and searched for supplies everywhere. Lin Xiaoqing swallowed his saliva and nodded weakly, swaying in a certain direction. At this moment, he felt like he was spinning around in circles, not sure if it was the prolonged lack of food that made him feel extremely tired. The sky is dark, gray, red, and strange, but this woman is too scary. She must not be a human. We need to find food. Water. Useful. With unsteady steps, Lin Xiaocheng weakly lowered his head and saw himself in tattered and dirty condition. My hands are moldy. Chen He has found the small shop in the village. Although most of the houses have collapsed, he managed to find some undamaged XX brand cookies and XX brand mineral water in this pile of ruins. Sure. Even the food and mineral water are made so realistically, these two brands are sponsored, right? She also found a small children's backpack, pink and dirty, with a cartoon unicorn painted on it. There are a total of 7 bags of cookies, and 2 bottles of water are all packed into a small backpack, ready to go back and find Lin Xiaocheng. When passing by a crater, I was attracted by the meteorite in front of me, but only by its appearance. The meteorites she had absorbed before all had a charred black surface, emitting a milky white deep faint light. However, this meteorite was gray and moist, with a smooth surface, like a stone mound on the street. To be honest, she has absorbed the crystal power carried by 2 meteorites, but in reality, she has not yet seen a real crystal source. I've been busy running for my life before, and I didn't even want to see what Jing looks like. Yeah. What did I miss out on because I was busy running for my life? What is the most important resource of this game? Jingyuan crystal. How much did I miss? These 3 days. How many resources have you been far away from? After a few painful cries, Chen He calmed down and thought for a moment, comforting himself, it's not like missing out. If I didn't run back then, I would have died. Chen He is deeply saddened. Decide to go back and search for every meteorite comprehensively in the next time. It is inevitable to extract the crystal source crystals from each meteorite. After making up his mind, Chen He finally calmed down and looked at the meteorite in front of him again. Knock it out and take a look. Excitedly approaching the meteorite, with a curious heart, he used crystal power to condense a hammer and found a point to give the meteorite a hammer. Bang! At the moment when the meteorite cracked open, a faint blue light flashed through while the meteorite shattered on the ground, a very moist blue crystal the size of a baby's fist lying quietly in a pile of gravel, exceptionally prominent. Crystal source stone. This vocabulary automatically appeared in my mind. Not every meteorite carries my own crystal source crystal, Yuan Lai. It seems that only the feeling of being attracted is the crystal source crystal I am looking for. Pick up this crystal source stone and weigh it with your hands. The texture is really good, and the hand feel is also good. It feels moist, but in reality, there is no liquid seeping out. After reading for a while, I threw it into my small backpack and walked back. Because she found that it cannot be absorbed, perhaps a person can only absorb one type of crystal source crystal. Hey! Crystal source crystal. Crystal source stone. Is there anything different? After searching for most of the village, without realizing it, Chen He had already returned to the place where the two were separated. Shortly after arriving, he saw Lin Xiaocheng stumble back. Are you okay, Lao Lin? Chen He asked helplessly as he glanced at the supplies that Lin Xiaocheng had searched for. Ha ha ha. I'm doing well, Lord Brave. Seeing Chen He, Lin Xiaocheng was clever and forced himself to wake up a bit, forcing a smile on his face. Are you sure you're good? Take a look at what you're holding in your hand. Those are the materials you think are useful. Chen He raised his eyebrows. Lin Xiaocheng was taken aback again and quickly lowered his head to take a look. His mind was instantly clear and not confused, his face was covered in black lines. He quickly hid the items in his hand behind him. Just now, I was dazed and unconsciously took something that shouldn't have been taken. Damn it. What do I usually do? Now even my face is going to be gone. Chen He hooked his finger and said, take it out, let me see what you specifically searched for, and came back. Lin Xiaocheng could clearly feel Chen He's gaze coming straight, and he didn't dare to look at her at all. When hesitating whether to face or die, I only felt a sudden drop in temperature in the air. Without any further consideration, he raised the item above his head with both hands, bent down 90 degrees, and shouted loudly, "Brave Lord, please take a look." After taking away several items, Lin Xiaocheng looked up and saw a bag of cookies in his hand. Lin Xiaocheng couldn't help but shed tears of happiness. She used to he's a good person. This bag of cookies, although broken into crumbs, when Lin Xiaocheng poured it into his mouth, it felt like he had eaten the most delicious food in the world. The happiness in his stomach fills Lin Xiaocheng with sweetness. What a dark world, strange sky, all broken. The whole world is pink. Just as Lin Xiaocheng was immersed in the delicious food, he could only hear the voice of Chen He in his ear. "A black stockings. Do you want to use them as a rope, or are you planning to put one foot on each of us when we go rob?" A black lady's underwear, and a strangely cut black camisole dress with the cuffs and collar opening up to the waist and the fork opening up to the waist. Does everyone tear open a piece to use as a scarf? The weather hasn't cooled down yet, has it? When Chen He read out the items he had collected one by one, he directly sent him back from heaven to hell to die of shame. "Did you ask?" she asked. "Can this kind of thing be asked? Do you really don't know what this is, or are you fake?" This series of questions is simply bizarre. Where is the artifact of eternal life in Chapter 7? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Lin Xiaocheng's face was red and his ears were red, and he was extremely embarrassed. "It's really amazing how you found these things in this ruins. I didn't even find a decent piece of clothing." Chen He didn't know why Lin Xiaocheng brought these things back, but considering that they were found by the NPC, they might be some mission props in the future, so he put them in his small backpack. Lin Xiaocheng widened his eyes in fear and barked in his heart. "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Get rid of it. Don't put it away. It's useless. You can't rob or use it as a scarf. All right. We have food and water for now, let's get out of here. By the way, you just had your food too. Did you remember any tasks?" Zipper up the small backpack and Chen He carries it on his back. Yes, I remember, Lord Brave. I'm actually coming out this time to find an important item. Please listen to me and speak slowly. There's no way, the tainted evidence has already been collected by the female lunatic. Lin Xiaocheng wiped away his weak sweat, pretended to be calm, and slowly spoke up. "In terms of deception, I, Lin Xiaocheng, have never been afraid of anyone. A few days ago, our elders in the family speculated that an artifact from thousands of years ago would soon appear in this area. Therefore, in order to obtain this artifact, our family prepared to send the younger generation of our clan to search for it and conduct trials. Whoever finds the artifact first can report it to the family to obtain their status promotion. We sharpened our heads one by one, competing to be the first, afraid of falling behind others, so I also set off in such a situation, but I didn't expect to be ambushed by my fellow countrymen that night. I know who did it, and the only person who hates me to the bone is that one. Brave Lord, now, I would like to ask you to escort me back to my tribe and uncover the person who plotted against me." Lin Xiaocheng spoke with righteous words, his face full of determination, and an expression that was bound to bring the bad guys to justice. But Chen He hesitated a bit and said, "Well, the task is to send you back to the tribe, right? But I'm more interested in the artifact you're talking about." Lin Xiaocheng felt a thump in his heart. It's over. Did he overdo it? Lord Brave. My name is Chen He. Lord Chen He. How long do we have to stroll? We've all come back to the end, maybe the artifact isn't in the direction I've chosen. It's almost too fast, this area won't be searched after searching. Chen He muttered to himself, "Who wants to search for your artifact? Lord Chen He, what are you doing knocking on so many meteorites all the way? Is it possible that the artifact followed the meteorites?" Lin Xiaocheng looked shocked. "You didn't tell me what the artifact your family speculated about, how do I know how it came from? Here. That's what I'm looking for. After speaking, he took out the deep blue crystal source stone from his backpack and said, "What is this thing called? You indigenous people don't know, do you? By the way, the task you posted to me didn't specify what the reward would be after completing the task." "Oh, I want this kind of thing, do you have it?" Lin Xiaocheng widened his eyes and looked at the stone in Chen He's hand, which was shining with a light blue light. Previously, the two of them walked back all the way, and he only saw this woman constantly driving meteorites all the way, elevating his understanding of her power to a higher level in his heart. A reliable female warrior. I didn't expect she was looking for a stone within a meteorite. A shining stone. If it weren't for knowing that it was carved out of a meteorite, Lin Xiaocheng would definitely think it was a fluorescent stone for children to play with. But he doesn't know what this is. This stone is also his first time seeing it. Even this kind of stone should have appeared on the blue star for the first time. Come with the meteorite. Ha ha. Lord Brave laughed. Although there is stock in the family, it is indeed not much and very precious. If you need it, I can apply for it then. Let's talk about it later. Chen He interrupted Lin Xiaocheng and continued to search nearby. This is the place where she was knocked unconscious by the rocks at the beginning, that's all left. The crystal source she needs will generate an induction when she approaches, so she can accurately find the location of the crystal source along the way by relying on the induction, and not really knock all the meteorites one by one all the way. At this moment, she was tirelessly searching for the location she had sensed. Even if Lin Xiaocheng's family could offer her Jinyuan Jing as a reward, it may not necessarily be what she needs, so she doesn't have much interest. Quickly, she searched the final area with astonishing speed and perception. Sitting on the ground against the round rock, with someone's blood stain still on it, I dug out Jinyuan crystals from my backpack and counted them. A total of 14 pieces were opened, of different sizes. Twist up a finger-sized crystal source crystal and lift it over your head to face the sky. The slightly white transparent crystal is highlighted by various light sources in the sky, appearing exceptionally brilliant. There seems to be material flowing inside, but upon closer inspection, it remains motionless. Warm touch, like a part of the body, familiar and warm. Slowly tuck your fingers together and hold on to the crystal source crystal, as if it had disintegrated, seeping into your body from the palm of your hand. A familiar feeling followed, and the crystal source force in your body became even more abundant. Quickly, Chen He absorbed this pile of crystal source crystals under the stunned witness of Lin Xiaocheng. Overall, it feels similar to the crystal source crystal in the mountains and forests. Chen He felt the crystal power inside his body for a while, and his mind moved. A faint and transparent layer of crystal power emerged from the skin, enveloping her thinly. Although it was still far from the formation of the flowing light armor, this thin film still excited Chen He for a while. Chen He clenched his fists and felt very happy in his heart. Her goal was the newbie divine costume, which must be condensed again. It's a thief. While Chen He was excited by the absorption of crystal source crystals and the significant increase in crystal source power, Lin Xiaocheng was skeptical about life. Oh no, he's wondering if this world is really real. Is it true that it is a virtual gaming world, as a female lunatic claimed? Or did he travel through time? Sitting on the other side of the rock, Lin Xiaocheng watched as Chen He transformed all the white and transparent stones into a faint gas, sucking it into her own hands. Then, she saw a faint silver-white halo emanating from her body. Is she cultivating immortality? No. Is she playing a game? Hey. Am I really in the game? In that case, do I still have a chance to return to my original world? Lin Xiaocheng stretched out his hands and looked at it again and again, his skin like a withered tree, withered and weak, withered and cracked. If this is really a virtual world, then everything we see now is fake. Hope reignited in his heart. Chapter 8. First Mutation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Since Lin Xiaocheng woke up, everything he saw and heard cannot be described as outrageous. Instead of making him believe that this is the real world, it is better to believe that this is a gaming world. Take a look at this crazy woman in front of you, constantly asking him for missions, muttering about the main plot and the rewards for the missions. If this is the gaming world, then it's normal. It's just a mistake of mistaking Lin Xiaocheng for an NPC. She's not a crazy woman, and I'm not a green-skinned monster either. I am also a player. Isn't this just round? Ha ha ha. I can still return to my original world as long as I log out of the game. How can I log out? Alright, let's go. Let's take you home first. Chen He stood up and patted the dust off his body. Well, okay. But I also seem to be lost now. Chen He's words interrupted Lin Xiaocheng's delusions and made his thoughts return. He still hasn't dared to tell the truth, even though he's starting to think it might be a game now. Now her level is also higher than mine. If you find out that what I said earlier was all fabricated, you might be able to directly chop me off. Take a step and take a look. Got it. The difficulty of the task has increased, and now I need to help you find your way home. I know it's not that easy. Let's go. The nearby forest was originally very dense, but after being hit by meteorite rain, the trees in the forest were almost burned down. The air is filled with a faint strange smell, somewhat like the odor emitted by Chen He after crushing meteorites. The smell is really hard to adapt to, and it should be carried by various meteorites. Meteorites are falling everywhere, some small in size cannot reach the ground, and some may explode at the moment of landing. Perhaps it is because of this that this strange odor appears on a large scale. As time went on, this strange gas condensed into a thin layer of pale green mist. The green mist here is noticeably thicker, probably due to the fact that this meteorite has fallen more frequently. The two of them carefully walked through the forest, as there were hardly any trees left, so they walked in a straight line. At the edge of the forest, Chen He was surprised to discover several plants. This edge area has not been affected by flames, and there is a row of dense shrubs nearby, with cute weeds growing under the shadows of the shrubs. This is just a common small grass in life, with two leaves, small and short, growing densely together. To Chen He's surprise, several of the plants grew like small water droplets. At first glance, I thought it was dewdrops, but on second thought, it's afternoon now. And these days, meteorites have been falling, and the temperature is extremely high. Where did the dewdrops come from? At this moment, a word suddenly flashed through my mind, ninjukao. Boo! It seems like a small light bulb has broken in my mind. A plant that was very similar to the grass in front of it appeared in the original position of the small light bulb, with leaves growing in a cross-shaped pattern layer by layer, and a sparkling object hanging from the tip of each leaf. This condensation bead grass. Although it is not exactly the same as what I thought, the fronti plant has only one layer, but the dew on this leaf is exactly the same as condensation bead grass. When she touched the ninjukao, it seemed natural to know its function. Wake up. The condensation beads on this condensation grass are not yet very solid. With a gentle finger poke, the condensation beads instantly break, and the liquid inside is thick and transparent, flowing down the Chen River. Chen He gently rubbed with his fingers, and a fresh energy rushed into his body, replenishing his vitality and eliminating most of his fatigue. Amazing! This small pile of grass has only grown a total of 6 condensation beads, and the ones that work are the condensation beads on the leaves. Eating all of them seems a bit wasteful. Why don't you squeeze into the mineral water? If you're thirsty, take it out and take a sip. It's a simple sobering potion. Just say it and do it. 3 times, 5 times, 2 out of 2, and a few beads on the Ningzhu grass are squeezed into 2 bottles of mineral water. There are a total of 12 condensation beads on the 6 Ningzhu grass plants. Chen He used 1, and there are 6 in the remaining bottle and 5 in the other bottle. The leaves are basically undamaged. I don't know if these little grasses will grow condensation beads in the future. Come back and take a look when you have the chance. In the afternoon, Chen He not only retrieved 14 fragments of crystal source crystals, but also unexpectedly harvested Ningzhu grass, feeling happy in his heart. The two continued to walk forward and soon walked out of this forest. The sky is gradually getting dark, and now it should be evening. Occasionally, meteorites appear in the sky, like golden crows who do not want the sunset to come out and cause trouble. Old Lin, do you know when this meteorite shower will stop? Chen He looked at the sky and chatted as he walked. Crossing this mountain ditch, not far away is a small basin, covered in a green mist that is noticeably more dense than elsewhere, but buildings can be vaguely seen within the basin. Chen He's route is to try to get closer to where there are people, and if you get lost, ask for directions. Besides, it's definitely right to walk towards the village. Tonight is the fourth day. These meteorites are like aliens attacking the blue star in a science fiction film. They surround the blue star with wormholes, and the meteorites are directly launched from the wormholes. Of course, I'm just a metaphor. This is not a blue star, it's your world, and these meteorite showers are just settings for your world. By the way, do you know how big your world is? Old Lin, what kind of power do your family major in? Do you know about Jinyuan power? Old Lin. Seeing that Lin Xiaocheng had not answered for a long time, Chen He felt a bit strange. Looking back, he saw that Lin Xiaocheng was walking unsteadily, his head lowered, and he was muttering words. As Lin Xiaocheng approached, he gradually heard something like, thirsty. Thirsty. Are you thirsty? Chen He bent down to see the face of Qing Lin Xiaocheng. After Lin Xiaocheng approached Chen He stopped walking and stood there dumbfounded. If you're really thirsty, I can give you a few sips, but don't be too thirsty. My water is not ordinary now. If you can still find water in the village ahead. Before Chen He could finish speaking, Lin Xiaocheng let out a low growl, I want to drink. Drink. It's not about drinking water, but like the green-skinned monster that went crazy a few days ago, it let out a low roar of, drink, drink. Accompanied by Lin Xiaocheng's low roar, his physical strength suddenly surged, his eyes bloodshot, he opened his bloody mouth, and made a fierce leap, wanting to pounce and bite Chen River. But how could Chen He be injured by him? Jingyuan Jing seems to be constantly enhancing her physical fitness, even the first awakened Chen He is not something that Lin Xiaocheng can reach. Chapter 9. My surname is Zhang, my name is An, and my Taoist name is Wuyou. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Moreover, the total amount of crystal source crystals in Chen He's body is no longer comparable to before. As Lin Xiaocheng was about to touch Chen He with both hands, he dodged this disorganized attack with one sidestep, tripped Lin Xiaocheng to the ground with the other foot, and quickly flipped his back, pushing his knee against his spine with one hand against his left hand and holding his back neck with the other. In just 1 second. Bang bang. Bang bang. My heart is beating faster. Chen He couldn't help but widen his eyes and open the corners of his mouth. Under the dim sky, he appeared somewhat ferocious. At this moment, Lin Xiaocheng could not move and could only use his face to vigorously rub against the ground as a sign of resistance, with a low growl constantly emitted from his mouth. Drink. Drink, drink. TSK. What's going on? Isn't this the main character? How did it turn out like this? Watching the person under him constantly wriggling his body in an attempt to escape, Chen He fell into chaos for a second and then calmed down. My brain is running at lightning speed. If it weren't for the main storyline, I wouldn't have followed me so much and wouldn't have posted tasks for me. His family must have the next plot task. Right, definitely not just hiccup like that. Think about what I found along the way. By the way. Coincidentally, they found me Ningzhu grass. How could it be so coincidental? Wake up, wake up. That's right. This guy is losing his sanity now. If I use Ningzhu grass, can I help him regain his sanity? Ding. It must be like this. This game, without even a hint, is too difficult to play. After thinking it through, Chen He put down Lin Xiaocheng's left hand and stepped on his left hand with his foot. Quickly grab a bottle of mineral water from the small backpack and bite open the bottle cap with your teeth. Thirsty, right? Want to drink water, right? I'll give you enough to drink. Don't let a drop leak out. Release Lin Xiaocheng's back neck, grab his messy hair, let his head tilt back, and his mouth naturally open. A bottle of the life spring mixed with the essence of the coagulating bead grass flows into Lin Xiao's city gate without fear, cough. After choking on the first sip, Lin Xiaocheng was very cooperative and allowed the spring water to pour in. With the rolling of Lin Xiaocheng's throat knot, the picture is actually quite unbearable to look directly at. The essence of coagulated bead grass that he drank gradually came into play. Quickly, Chen He felt that the person under him was no longer struggling, as if he had lost his strength and was limping to the ground, so he let go of him. Lin Xiaocheng's breathing gradually stabilized, but now he has passed out in a coma. Chen He didn't dare to run with him anymore, not because he couldn't carry him, but because he was afraid that the water he had just poured in would shake it out again. So he could only sit and wait for him to wake up. Unexpectedly, after waiting for only a few hours, of course, it was just an estimate, the sky had almost darkened. Lin Xiaocheng woke up slowly and found his face hurting. My heart couldn't help but thump. Quickly recall memories. Did I do something else that made this crazy woman unhappy, so I was scolded? I seem to have attacked her. Am I crazy? Oh yes. I seem to be crazy. Thinking of this, Lin Xiaocheng was already sweating profusely without realizing it. He was afraid that he might have almost become like the kidnapper driver. He has seen the kidnapper driver like that before. Although he was unconscious when he was kidnapped, he soon woke up. He dared not speak or move, and the kidnapper lay motionless on the steering wheel, unsure whether he was alive or dead. It was already noon by then, and suddenly many suns appeared in the sky. Lin Xiaocheng suspected that his wine had not yet woken up. Until there was a loud explosion coming from around, coming and going, and the car shook violently with that explosion. Fear instantly enveloped Lin Xiaocheng, and it was only then that he dared to believe that the meteorite falling from the sky was a deadly extraterrestrial object. At night, meteorites kept appearing in the sky, occasionally reflecting the sky like daylight. However, what was even more terrifying was that the driver who had been lying on the steering wheel motionless for most of the day suddenly moved. Lin Xiaocheng didn't dare to move, quietly listening to the driver constantly banging his head against something. Until the latter half of the night, when Chen He arrived. I have finally been saved. Now, she seems to have saved herself once again. Are you sober now? Upon hearing the shout, Lin Xiaocheng came out of his thoughts and found himself still lying on the ground. He quickly sat up. No wonder his face hurt so much. I gently touched it, and there was a lot of sticky sand on it. I probably rubbed his face against the ground. Seeing Chen He sitting next to a small tree not far away, I suddenly felt a bit embarrassed. I used to scold her as a crazy woman. In my heart I will definitely not scold you after I post 4. Thank you. Lin Xiaocheng spoke with some embarrassment. Chen He glanced at Lin Xiaocheng and snorted in his heart, my Ningzhu grass. Seeing that Chen He only glanced at him and didn't say anything, Lin Xiaocheng ran over again, feeling embarrassed just now. It was just a reaction of not fully waking up. He, Lord Brave. If it weren't for you, my life would have been entrusted here. Would you like me to pinch your legs and pound your back? Lin Xiaocheng shamelessly stepped forward. Anyway, this is a game. Well, this should be a game, right? Hush. But my drinking and being kidnapped are all real. Oh, no matter what, whether he's real or fake, hold on to your thighs first. Chen He kicked away the dry hands extended by Lin Xiaocheng and said, no need. But judging from your current appearance, your mental state is extremely good. Isn't that all thanks to your blessings? Anyway, it's getting late. I'll take a break. You stay up late tonight and remember to pay attention to the sky at all times. After speaking, Chen He leaned his head against the small tree, closed his eyes, and ignored Lin Xiaocheng. If you haven't rested for a few days, even if your body can eat well, your mind will still be tired. Lin Xiaocheng drank a whole bottle of Ningzhu grass water, and his current mental state must be very excited. He can't sleep, so having him on duty at night can be considered as not wasting that bottle of Ningzhu grass water. However, shortly after squinting his eyes, he was interrupted by a startled shout from Lin Xiaocheng. "Who's there? Come out." I saw Lin Xiaocheng cautiously retreat until he reached Chen He's side, his gaze fixed on a small slope ahead to the left. In no time, a person walked out from behind Xiaopa and could vaguely see the general attire, a tall bun, a short shirt, a pair of cloth shoes, and a cloth bag on his back. "Ah, I'm sorry to disturb you. It's just that I haven't seen anyone for a few days. I'm a bit happy to meet you both all at once." The person rubbed his head, his eyes slightly dodging, as if he was a bit embarrassed. "Oh, let me introduce myself first. My surname is Zhang, my name is An, and my Taoist name is Wuyou. As the mountain gate was destroyed in the meteorite disaster, I took the opportunity to go down the mountain for training." After speaking, he made a bow. "Meeting is fate, how about the three of us walking together?" Chapter 10. Exploring Villages. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although it was already late, due to the occasional appearance of meteorites, there was still a faint light, and it was vaguely seen that it was indeed a Taoist's attire. Lin Xiaocheng was naturally willing and longed for someone to share the pressure. Although Chen He saved him twice, there was still a sense of concern for his life. Let's see, his appearance is indeed the attire of a Taoist. Aren't monks all compassionate? You've finished speaking, what else can we say? Lin Xiaocheng first pretended to express his helplessness, then quietly glanced at Chen He's reaction. Chen He looked at Zhang curiously and said, "Is there a profession like a Taoist in this game? Hey, is the professional attire like this?" Zhang. Just as he was about to ask what it meant, Lin Xiaocheng quickly stepped forward and grabbed Zhang, whispering, "Shu. If you want to stay, don't ask too much." Then he turned around and smiled at Chen He. "Zhanyan, that's right, Lord Chen He. There is indeed a profession like a Taoist." Zhang thought to himself that being a Taoist could also be considered my profession, so he no longer continued on this topic. Later, Lin Xiaocheng introduced himself and Chen He, and the three of them got to know each other. "Tonight is too late, let's rest first. We'll talk about everything tomorrow." Chen He leaned back against the small tree and squinted his eyes. "Then, I'll stay up late tonight," Zhang said. "No need, Lao Lin is here. He can't sleep." Lin Xiaocheng quietly glanced at Chen He and whispered to Zhang, "Old Lin, I'm only 24 years old." "Are you so old?" You sleep, I'll watch the night." Zhang looked at Lin Xiaocheng, then at Chen He, and smiled, "Since that's the case, then I'm disrespectful." In fact, Zhang hasn't slept for 3 days. He looked up at the sky and found no traces of meteorites in the nearby area. He breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. If it weren't for the mountain gate being built in the deep mountains and forests, he wouldn't have walked for so many days without seeing anyone. "Master, I don't know where he is. Has he escaped from the temple?" The Taoist temple has a wide range of disciples, and Master insists on passing it on through a single lineage. "Sigh, I might have to pass it on to you." There was nothing to say all night, and everyone was resting quietly. Only Lin Xiaocheng was half asleep and half awake, occasionally looking up at the sky. When the sky was slightly bright, a series of footsteps woke everyone up. The three of them quickly stood up and hid behind the small earthen slope that Zhang had avoided not far away. Brother Lin, your skin." Zhang was somewhat surprised. Shoo, I'm putting on makeup." Lin Xiaocheng calmly whispered to Zhang and said. Oh, I see. Why do we have to hide? Lin Xiaocheng asked in confusion. Zhang felt a bit embarrassed. I also hid because I found you too, and only dared to come out after realizing that you are not bad people. So you've been there long ago. So, you've seen me being pinned down and rubbing against the ground. Zhang awkwardly smiled, trying to divert the conversation. The small river is very strong. Shoo, here we are. Let's take a look first before we talk, Chen He interrupted the two. Several people poked half of their heads out from behind the small earthen slope. A team of 8 people, led by a petite figure, dressed in uniform white standard protective clothing, all wearing face shields. They didn't know what they were going to do, but the direction seemed to be consistent with Chen He and his team, which was the village in the basin. It seems that these people have come prepared to protect themselves to this extent. Inhaling too much green mist will definitely cause certain harm to the body. Thinking of this, Chen He couldn't help but glance at Lin Xiaocheng. Is there any connection between the green mist and the green skin? At present, the green-skinned ones are NPCs, while the normal-skinned ones should be players. However, those 8 people are fully armed, and it is unclear whether they are players, NPCs, or some kind of professional attire. However, with the same destination, Chen He plans to let these 8 people take the lead and go inside to see if there is any danger. After whispering a few words, the 3 of them quietly followed the 8 people. Go all the way down to the entrance of the basin. A strong green mist emanated from the village entrance, looking somewhat miserable. The whole village is like a huge mouth, ready to devour all those who enter. Those 8 people have already been inside for a while. Do we also need to go in? Lin Xiaocheng's voice was somewhat trembling, and there was a voice in his heart telling him that he couldn't enter. If he did, something terrible would happen, and maybe he would lose his sanity like last time. Looking at Lin Xiaocheng's appearance, Chen He hesitated and said, wait a little longer. If those 8 people haven't come out yet, let's go in and take a look. Zhang Anduan sat on the side, breathing and practicing martial arts, which was his daily compulsory course. About half an hour later, Lin Xiaocheng was still worried about what would happen after entering. Chen He leaned against the memorial archway post at the entrance of the village, and Zhang withdrew from the practice and finished his homework. It seems that the situation of those 8 people is not very good, Zhang said with a faint smile on his face, indicating that completing the course has made his body and mind much more comfortable. Well, I'll go in and take a look. You stay with Lao Lin at the village entrance. Are you going in alone? Don't you need me to accompany you? Didn't you say I'm strong? You stay and protect old Lin. Chen He didn't care at all. There was a familiar feeling in the village that there might be Jingyuan Jing, and she must go in. Oh, by the way, these are for you. After speaking, he took out 4 bags of cookies and a bottle of mineral water from his small backpack and handed them to Zhang. If Lao Lin goes crazy again, give him a few sips of water. This water is not ordinary, so save some. Then entering the village, the green mist was too dense, and soon the figure of Chen He could not be seen clearly. Lin Xiaocheng looked at the biscuits and mineral water in Zhang An's hand and sighed, ah, I'm not as good as you, a Taoist who only knows me for a day. Zhang An looked at Lin Xiaocheng, then at the biscuits and mineral water in his hand, and sighed, sigh. The strange green mist made Zhang An feel that he could guess roughly that Lin Xiaocheng was probably inhaling too much of this gas, causing his body to undergo changes, which led to his madness. As for the claim that the skin had been makeup applied, Zhang An didn't care either. From the worn wound on Lin Xiaocheng's face, it wasn't that any makeup had turned green. He shouldn't have asked, but fortunately Lin Xiaocheng found a way for himself to avoid embarrassment. And he himself has been walking in this fog for the 4th day. Zhang An picked up the mineral water bottle and carefully looked at it. He found some floating objects in the water. It seems that something has been added, not ordinary water. This water can suppress mania, it's a good thing.